November meeting of Leestown Middle School site-based council. It is 5:09 and we're calling this meeting to order. We do have quorum, so at this point in time, I would like site-based members to introduce themselves and tell their role.
I'm Lynn Price-Goda. I'm a teacher rep.
I'm Ashley Holt, and I'm a parent representative.
I'm Jamie Hoofnagel. I'm a teacher representative.
Seth Miller, teacher representative.
Okay, and we're still waiting on Ronette Wilder, parent rep, but we do have quorum, so we will start, and I will keep watching to admit her at that time. So first round of business is approval of minutes from October's meeting, October 12th, 2020.
I make a motion to accept the minutes.
Ashley Holt seconds the motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, minutes have been accepted, and next round of business is agenda approval for tonight, November 9th, 2020. Did send out on Wednesday of last week, and since then I have added ESS proposals, so that should be on the agenda I sent you, and Mr. Collins did post that one over the weekend as well. So.
Motion to approve the November 9th agenda.
Does it include the munis? I can't scroll down and see that far.
I'll second.
And what you're going to see on the agenda that I went ahead and typed some things in, but we can take them out if we don't approve that. I just wanted to break down to some of those funds. That's why you see the funds on this agenda that I'm showing. So.
Yeah, normally you just say budget update, right? You don't normally have the details.
Yeah, normally I have it written on the board, but this is the best way that I thought I could do that. So, so we would just need. We do have a motion. We do have a second. So all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, so we have the agenda accepted for tonight. Hello, Ms. Wilder. We have just approved the agenda for tonight, and we're getting ready for the public comment. So.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Sorry, we having issues at work, so sorry.
Oh, I know. That's perfectly fine. So. We do have public visitor tonight, Miss Brandy Baker. Do you have any comment, Miss Brandy Baker?
No, not anything we've covered thus far.
Okay. Moving on to good news report. I think the best news was the open house last week. It was a huge success. We didn't know what to expect with the drive-through open house, but families started driving through around 5 o'clock, and we still had traffic coming through up until 7:05, 7:10, and I think total we had about 200 families come through our drive-through open house. So it's great to see all the smiling faces of our students, even if it was driving through in a car. Parents seemed to enjoy it, so we were able to give just a little goodie bag that had their agenda in it, had their Leestown Way t-shirt, and then also PTSA did a great job. We were set up in the back parking lot, PTSA set up in the front, and we had parents, once they would leave our spot, they would drive in the front and either pick up their Leestown swag that they had ordered or had a chance to purchase some. So it was a great night. The weather was great. Had a lot of teachers volunteer here and a lot of people come through. So just an awesome night. I don't know if anybody was out there want to add to that or anything.
As a parent, I came through and it was wonderful. It was well organized, well populated by teachers, smooth in and out. I was wondering if we have a count yet from first period or those QR codes of how many families we saw.
Yeah, rough count from the night was 200. So, but Miss Lee was still trying to get official count from the first hour classes to see if we missed anybody. So that was a really good turnout, and yeah, shout out to Miss Lee and the committee that planned that, and shout out to Miss Connors and PTSA for their involvement as well. So other thing that we've got going on is targeted assistance. We have started that. This will be the third or fourth week that we've done targeted assistance this week. So currently we're serving anywhere from 55 to 70 students for targeted assistance coming in from 2 to 4 on Wednesdays. Transportation has started now, so we do have kids coming as car riders and on the bus, and it's been a big success so far, and I think it's students are getting some extra help and I think enjoying their time here so far. So kind of have to reconfigure those bus lists like every week, so we hope to be looking at seeing if we can add some more spots and how we can manage that for the rest of the semester. But it's going good so far. So with that, anybody have any other good news to report? All right, if not, we can move on to budget business. So a couple of things I sent you. First, school activity funds. I sent those out to you, and just take any questions you have about student activity funds. Remember, those are accounts that clubs and activities generate for students to be spent on students during the school year. So some of those accounts, of course, are not moving right now because we don't have a lot of clubs actively involved right now. But take any questions about the school activity fund accounts if you have those at this time. If not, then I will try and share first. Well, that's what I was just sharing. Okay. I sent you a copy of this today as well, but I have a hard time copying this, so I know it's like sideways. So hopefully you are able to read that. But this is the time of year that we have our Section 6, our carry forward money come in from the previous year. So let me kind of scroll down to that first. So Section 6 is right there. And you see it's $66,574. So that all goes into contingency right now. But it can't stay in contingency. We have to move that money out of contingency and put them in different codes there. And again, that's money that we had left over from last year, and we got to carry that forward for this year. And we have until April 30th, I believe, to spend all that money. What we don't spend then goes back to the district. So we will work hard to spend that. So it's important that we get it in the codes that we're normally spending supplies out or buying things out of. If not, then we have to do a budget transfer to move money around. So that's the section carry forward money. And then up there is the Section 6 money. That's our operating budget from this year. And it is $94,476. So now if you remember your budget from last month, we were about $74,000. So that budget is $20,000 more that we have to spend than last year. Does anybody know why?
Attendance is up.
Well, you're very close. So it's based on last year. So what we do is in the spring when we get our budget numbers, or in the winter actually, they budget us at a lower per day rate for average daily attendance. So they start you at $100 per day. So and then what the state really gives you is $116 per student per day. So they start you in winter at 100, then they readjust your budget in the summer to take it to 110, and then you get your second month adjustment for the 116, and that helps schools if you have some budget troubles, and they don't want to take money away from anybody, so they kind of hold that back, hold it harmless, and hopefully you get that boost in the second month. So that's a big boost for us. So it's about $20,000. We have a good budget situation, so that gives us a lot of money to spend now for the year. And again, this would be money normally that at this point in time when we would get our carry forward money, that we would stop spending our Section 6 money right now and roll that over for next year. Well, they're not going to let me roll $94,000 over. And the whole school budget is changing now. So, and that's come back and forth. Either they're going to let me roll 15 or 20% of that Section 6 money over to next year. So it's going to we're going to have to readjust how we do some budgeting. But that means we have a lot of money to spend this year. So, and also we have Title I dollars to spend as well. So it's a good place to be, but it's a lot of money that Ms. Meekins gets to spend, right, Ms. Meekins?
Exactly, and I already have ideas, seriously. I'll share whenever you want me to.
So what we have to do with those, with the budget right now is we have to move both of those. The Section 6 C, which is the carry forward from last year, there's over 66,000 in contingency now. I can't leave it in contingency. I got to move that out into different codes. And Section 6, now we have that larger lump sum now in contingency, 44,000, that I'll have to move out as well. So what I put in the agenda, and it doesn't have to be that, I just had to write it somewhere so we can kind of see what we're looking at. Those are the codes we usually spend out of. Registration fees, and that, PD and things like that. But I'm not sure how much that will be spent on for PD this year, because a lot of stuff is free this year just because of the COVID situation. Other printing, general supplies. That's what we use to operate and run the school. So I always put a healthy chunk of funds in there. Library books. Edie's still trying to beef up that library. We were generous giving her some money at the end of last year, but still trying to fill some holes in our offerings. And then tech supplies, we got two codes there, 0650 and 0734. So anything that we have to do in terms of technology hardware. So in the past, if we were buying up a lot of Chromebooks, I put a hefty amount of money in that code. We're not having to buy those now, but anything tech related that we want in terms of hardware would have to come out of that code. I put a little bit more in both of the 0650 tech related stuff. So if you do a subscription like social studies, they want to invest in study.com. So, if we have money in 0650, that's where that subscription would have to come out of. So, that's why I put, around 10 grand in that. And same thing with the Section 6 contingency, kind of split it up that way. Did have the food category there. That helps with the Title I, I can't buy any food for when we had the Title I nights, so we do pizzas. I can't buy food out of Title I money. It has to come through that food code in Munis, so that's why we keep some money in there. I'm not sure that's going to be relevant for the rest of the year, but it could be. Other printing, any kind of signage that we use. General supplies in section 6 there, 0610, that's where we would buy paper for the copier. We still have money in the copier machine in there, section 6, I think over 19,000. The good thing is we're not using, that's, those copy clicks have gone way down, so we should finally come under that 20,000 for the copier this year. Library books, figure we could give the library some more money, still filling those holes. And again, tech related, 0650 and 0734. So we don't have to be that way. I just kind of start with a rough start there, and we can move things around however we think. Once we move it there, it doesn't have to stay there. We can always do budget transfers later on. It just can't stay in the contingency code. So, any thoughts?
Is this a thing that we could do a teacher needs assessment? Because most years we're able to predict from previous behavior what teachers need or what requests might come through the year, but this year's different than any other.
Yeah, we could. Now, some of that, we have to operate the school on, so there's a lot of things that, just general need, but, and then a lot of our instructional stuff comes from Title I, and usually when teachers request materials, we try to work to give them the materials. But we also remember at the end of the year, we buy up all of our supplies for the next year because we never know what we're working with in terms of funds from year to year. Funds will be a little bit tighter next year just because we can't carry forward as much money than we've carried forward in the past because they're going to narrow it down to 15-20%. So.
Has a tech committee or Mr. Collins looked at this to talk about what his needs are as far as the two tech-related categories?
Not yet. I've just, literally just got our Section 6C at the end of last week, and it came with the, the information with the increased funds in the Section 6. So.
If we agreed to put them in these categories now, we can always change that, right, Mr. Gibson?
Yeah. I just can't go past this month and have it still in contingency.
Is there, with the instructional stuff going on right now and reaching children, is there any talk in the district level of like summer programs or enrichment opportunities? If there's district stuff, that's one thing, would we be in a situation with some of this money to look at some things like that in the spring or the summer for our kids?
Yep. Not with this money, you can't. This money goes away April 30th. So you either roll it over to the next year and everything stops. What you can do in terms of summer programs is with your Title I money. Title I money is budgeted up until September. So any kind of summer instruction, things like that is always through Title I, or if you have leftover ESS money, which that almost comes out of the same pot too. So, but that's a good question. So both of the Section 6 basically is your operating fund.
Can we add more? This is from that. Can we add more money? Excuse me, Ms. Wilder. Can we add more money to the library? Just because I know they're struggling, so since we have extra to kind of get it, because if it's going to be tight next year, it'll give her a little base to get more than what she normally would get, right?
Yep. Now we did give her more in the spring, and she's been spending that. So this gives her $7,000 more to start with right now, and we could always increase that if she needs to. So she's kind of looking to see what things, she's basically filling holes right now. You know, you're looking at ebooks, you're looking at different, a diverse selection of books and things like that. So she felt that that was a pretty good starting point right there. And then, you know, like I said, there's a hefty amount of money, especially in supplies there, 40,000. So that could always be moved to another code.
So, considering that we can change this again later, Mr. Gibson, I'd like to just motion that we accept the current allocations with the option of going back to change them if we need to.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Aye.
All right. All right. Motion to accept these and has passed, and we will. Oh, I'm sorry. Any opposed? All right, and then we will. What I will do now is I give this to Miss Fran, and she goes in and sets that up in those budget codes. So when you get the you get our Munis budget next month, you'll see these numbers in those codes. And again, I do think that you know, it's a lot of money, so we can kind of break down and kind of look at our instructional needs, and we'll talk about some of this with our department chairs as well. Okay. All right, staffing update. We had formed a committee to interview for our 2 open positions, and we did find 2 applicants that we wanted to recommend for the position. One was had a math background. The other was a bilingual candidate, the only one we could find, and we thought had kind of a language arts background. When we got to check on things, the one candidate with the language arts background could not teach anything in middle school, not certified to teach anything other than theater, I believe it was. And then the math person took an elementary job. So, you know, those jobs are still open, and there's just nobody that's applied for them right now. So kind of consulting with the committee that was interviewing there, we felt that we could go ahead and Miss Abby Clay, who is language arts teacher, has been on leave. And she was going to be on leave for the rest of the year. She can't work remotely, or she can't work in person, but can do stuff remotely. So we thought that bringing her back would fill the void in one of those positions, and we could use her for a multitude of things. If we need her to help provide intervention, she could do that. If we need her to help service students in a remote setting, she can do that. So that's kind of where we're going to take that one position, and it would still leave us with a math position that if we can find somebody, and we're still talking to Asbury and some other universities to see if they've got any graduates that would be helpful. It may not be that we so much need intervention as much as we will need people to help service remote learning at this point in time, because with the new plan is that we will all be face to face. If you choose to come back face to face, that'd be 5 days a week, and then if you choose remotely, then the school will have to come up with a model to service those students remotely. So we're going to need some teachers that will be able to service that role. So. I know that's a lot and a kind of complicated process, but any questions about that? We are happy to have Miss Clay coming back, and Miss Clay is happy to come back. And then we did advertise for a bilingual para-educator. No takers on that at this point in time. But it's also one that we can kind of hold in our pocket until second semester. If we do that, we advertise for a 0.5 bilingual parent educator. So be 0.5 right now, but if we still have that position, we don't fill it first semester, we decide to fill it in January, then that 0.5 becomes 1.0. So instead of having a person here half a day, you would get them second semester for a whole day every day. So it may be better just hold on and look for somebody right now to help with that as well. And I've got some fillers out trying to find some people, but that would be good to have some more bilingual support as well. So, any questions? All right. So moving on to new business. We have Miss Brandy Baker here to talk about ESS and the ESS proposal. So with that, Miss Baker, I'm going to pull it up and you just tell me what I need to show.
All right, guys, good evening. We have our proposal put together, and it is a little different than what we've seen in previous years because we were trying to plan for both a virtual setting as well as a plan for should we return to in-person. We were given a budget of $23,000, just a little over $23,000, and we have come up with a plan to spend just under $22,000. So as long as we stay in NTI 2DL, we plan to meet twice a day on Wednesdays, 7:30 to 9, 4 to 5:30. The thought behind that was we are hearing from some parents that once they've gone to work, it's hard for them to ensure that the kids are on the computer. So if we start that at 7:30, hopefully the parents can ensure that they are there. All ESS instruction this year will be centered around credit recovery because even though we have a small percentage of our overall students who are not doing well in virtual, it is a larger percentage than what we've had in the past. So we really need to target those kids. On Wednesday, we will also meet at 4 to 5:30 to meet with those kids, and we will have a Saturday session, which we've done historically in the past from 8 to 12. Students will be identified by teacher recommendations. They must be failing 2 or more classes to qualify for credit recovery. We're going to have 30 students per grade level. We're going to staff it with application just like we always have. We're going to have 4 certified staff people working with this. Our ratio is going to be 1 to 23 maximum. While in NTI, we've already talked about how that works. Should we go back to in-person, we will do ESS just like we always have. We'll meet 4:30 to 6, Mondays and Thursdays, still offering Saturday school from 8 to 12. When we look at the credit recovery and closing the achievement gaps, we will be constantly monitoring their grades to make sure that our program is becoming successful. Any and all subjects are going to be addressed during this time, and instruction will be delivered virtually while we're in the virtual setting, obviously in person, should we be able to return. If we can go on down and look at any instructional programs or modalities. All right, so we're going to use Imagine Learning and other programs that may be available for credit recovery. We will not be providing transportation. We haven't provided transportation for ESS in 2 years, and we've had better attendance without providing transportation, which is kind of opposite of what you would think, but that is how it works. So each teacher is going to be responsible for monitoring their group of students. They will monitor the students' grades and classroom measures of success. Additionally, if we have map data available, we will use that to measure success. And then below that, we have the outline of what our budget will look like. So most of it is spent, obviously, on teachers, paying them for their time, and then the certified benefits. And that comes together for $21,881. Any questions?
When we go back to in-person, can we put some money in snacks?
Snacks are provided to us free through a program with the cafeteria. So we do provide snacks, but it's not something we have to budget for, Ms. Prasagoda.
Woohoo! Because,
Yeah.
Snacks.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
All right. no more questions, then we would just need a motion to approve the ESS proposal.
I make a motion, this is Ashley Ho, I make a motion that we approve the ESS proposal.
I can second that motion. Price Godwin.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Sorry. All right, no opposed, then we will pass the ESS program proposal. And Ms. Baker, I think I need to sign that and just send it to you, and then you send it in, correct?
Yeah, I may swing by tomorrow and grab a physical copy of it. Let
Okay.
you sign it. I'll sign it, and then I'll run it downtown real quick.
That works for me.
All right, thank you.
All right. All right, next up, the KDE assurances. And kind of some background on this. This is a very complicated and confusing document at times. What we have to do each year is do a school report card. And school report card is based off of our data from the previous year. So you're basically doing it for the year you just finished. And a lot of it, they send me these instructions. I go in there and have to follow and put it in, and it kind of gives us some data as well. And basically, a lot of it was hard to do this year because we didn't have K-Prep. So the big thing is, the K-Prep data, and that's what goes in your school report card. So we don't have K-Prep data from last year, but we still have to do our school report card. So this basically is our school assurance document, and it's talking about a lot of our music programs, practical living, arts and humanities programs, and all of this is not completely accurate. I have to go in there and answer some questions, and it kind of gives me some data. So, and some of this basically is looking at what we put in the previous years. Is where we get some of the minutes. That's kind of basically just looking at the average minutes for, agriculture, health sciences, family consumer sciences, informational technology, and then, ask, about professional development hours offered to teachers. And we put 12 because, we give, we take half of those PD hours and let teachers find 12 that is in their field of study. And then the budget, I usually aim pretty low on that. We did spend for some things on some of these departments last year. I know in PE we bought some stuff and some things in art. Some of these things are very confusing. If I go down here, like the courses offered, I don't fill that in. I answer questions and it gives me this, and I have no idea what it is. It looks that similar to that every year, so I don't know why it says 408, and I've never been able to get anybody to tell me where those numbers are coming from. I don't know if that's state codes or what. Basically, what I'm filling out is questions, concerning access to the programs. Do we have computer labs? Do we have a stage or auditorium? Do we have individual classes for content areas? Classrooms designed for world language. Basically, it's looking, do you have a lot of floaters, or do you have designated classrooms for areas? So, what questions do we have on that? I do know that some of the times were wrong on a couple that I think was health and PE. The instructional minutes were wrong, and I did an addendum on that in some of the world languages from the weekly times. So there's some questions about an immersion program. We don't have a language immersion program. We do have world languages, but not a language immersion program. So do we have specific questions about this?
I have a lot of questions, but they might be moot. I mean,
Okay.
where does this? I know this report card is on our school website, other than that, what is its meaning in life?
Yeah, it's not on their school website. It's Liz at KDE, so you can go and access the report card there. You can see our website there because they just want your link to our website when I have to turn that in. So actually, I don't even think I put that in there. I think that's already developed for me. So you can go to KDE and access your school report card, and it's part of the information that's compiled there. There's this document that we have to have site-based signed. There's a safety document that I just have to have turned into downtown. There's some assurances on staff that, sign off that we have, qualified staff in opposition. So it's just part of your school report card. So, you can access it through KDE, but we don't have access to it on our website or anything like that. So, and basically there's one person that contacts all principals in the state every year and lets us know when to put in our information for our assurances. So I know that doesn't give you a whole lot of information about it, but
I mean, if a lot of it's computer generated from a survey or list of questions, that makes sense why some of it's wonky. I wondered where it shows on here that last year we had teachers that were floating. I couldn't find that. And then the thing about the stage, no teacher has access to the stage during the school day because it's got stuff on it. I mean, it's there, but it's not accessible. There's a class in there.
yeah. I mean, I can take that off. I mean, if a teacher wanted access to it, we would let them access it. Like, drama wanted access to it for performance last year, and we would have cleaned it off for the performance, but she wanted to use the front of the stage. So just because we got stuff on there doesn't mean that we wouldn't work to let someone access it. Drama teacher Mr. Briggs has already talked about the stage this year, and we've kind of got a plan to move some things around and give some areas for him and some storage areas and some places for them to work on a performance. So.
Do you need a motion for anything, or we just?
Don't have a motion for this. This is just a signature from Sitebase saying that we reviewed it.
Okay.
But I can go.
Mr. Gibson, did you get my scanned signature? This is Ashley, I'm sorry.
Yes, Miss Holt, I did get yours. So, and then I
Okay,
just,
perfect, thank you.
I just got to send all those in individually. But I could go in there and uncheck the stage if we feel better about that. I just have to open it back up, and basically it's hitting a check mark. So
I wouldn't think we need to do that. I think you're right. I mean, it is available if somebody requested it. I know you guys bend over backwards to try to help when someone asks or has a need. So,
this is what was off, and I don't know how that just got put in for health and PE, that we only had 7 minutes of instruction. So I had sent that in about a week ago to get that changed. Get some change, I got sent it in, they opened it back up for me to go in there and put some more minutes in. So, and these numbers, I have no idea. I've never been able to find out. When I fill it out, those numbers aren't there. And then it generates a report with a lot of numbers like that. So Jason thought there might have been codes at one point in time, but I'm not sure. So
Mr. Gibson, if we sign the other paper, that we're assuming we're signing the updated version of this. Is that basically what?
yes, and I can, once get that numbers, those numbers, I can send that back to you so you can see that they have been updated, like the 7 minutes and everything like that.
So we can sign the original one you sent us and return it to you, though.
Yeah, I just need from you all the signature sheet.
Okay.
So I need. So
Mr. Gibson, this is Miss Wilder. Did you receive mine as well?
Yes, I did, Miss Wilder.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, any other questions? All right, so if you get that signed to me, then I can get that turned in, and then I will send you a copy of where it's, especially the PE and health, where it should say 225 instead of 7 minutes. So, all right, with that, Ms. Meekins, field trips. We have any field trips? I guess not, but I think we have some fundraisers, right?
At this time, there are no field trip requests. At this time, there are also no PD requests, but we do have one fundraiser request. Leestown Orchestra would like to sell poinsettias from November 12th through the 24th to raise money for music and other items in the orchestra room. And that's our only fundraiser request.
So we would just need a motion to approve the fundraiser.
I'll make a motion to approve it. Hoofnagel.
This is Miss Wilder. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, fundraiser has passed. That should say agenda items for December, not August. One big thing is what we will probably have in December is our plan for return. Kind of had to rip my hybrid plan up, but we will have a new plan that I should get the template this week, and it will be finalizing all of the things that we need to have for our return in January. We did send out the school registration form today. All schools sent out school registration forms. I know several parents out there, you should have gotten that. And then basically it's asking parents to either choose in-person, remote learning, and I don't know if VLA was an option on that one or not, but we need as many people to turn that survey in as possible. It's live for a week, and then we got to take that data and give students either, we got to kind of start scheduling, and we got to designate students that are going to be here live in person and designate students that are going to be here remote. So that will help us plan. So that went out, and I will send that out every day this week, trying to get as many people to complete that as possible. If you don't fill it out, you automatically default to in person. So make sure.
So this is Miss Wilder. I have a question.
Yep.
So like right now, I don't want my kids to go back, but it could change if the numbers go down in January.
Yep. That's, Ms. Wilder, that is a good question, and that's been voiced several times in some of our meetings. Right now, they want parents to commit. They are saying right now that that choice won't be there to jump back and forth second semester. So now I don't know if that changes, but that's what they're saying right now. So, but that's a good question, and I don't think that says that anywhere. And I just basically have a form letter that I put Leestown on that I send out with that survey on there. So I'm not sure
Right.
if that was
It didn't have that
specified.
option. It didn't even have a way you could put comments. So no.
Yeah, no, there's no comments on this one. So, but that is a good question.
One of the things we had an issue, Mr. Gibson, I believe, with the previous survey was we have a pretty large section of students who parents don't have email.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was a problem across the district that the district doesn't seem to be acknowledging. Has there been any information from the district on that process?
Yeah, they've encouraged us to call and get parents on the phone and try to complete the survey for them, and we'll do the best we can with that. But in 5 days, I've actually, even because of the cases spike, we've kind of split our clerical up so we're not sitting on top of one another in the front office. So I don't have as many people available to call as we did on the previous survey, we're also trying to call for, remind kids about targeted assistance and bus changes on there. So, but we'll try to call as many as possible. Also, the district is helping out in terms of calling families that need translation. So we're going to start with a group that Ms. Defendahl has sent that don't have emails, so we know who don't have emails right now, and try to start with them and get something situated with those families first. So.
Well, I'm glad to hear there's a little bit of help from the district office.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of stuff is being just passed down to the school district or schools themselves and saying figure it out. So I'm glad to hear there's a little bit of help.
Yeah, and the district they developed a survey. I sent it out. They felt like it would get more responses if the schools sent it out. I think the last one was just pushed out district-wide, so they wanted the schools to send this one out. And I know we just went out today, I think probably 11:30, and we already had families starting to complete it. So, but I do appreciate that. So, any other questions? If not, we would just need a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second it, Ms. Wilder.
All right, we are adjourning at 5:56. So thank you, everybody. And we are going